Hi, I'm Albert. Thanks for watching Vlogs About Nothing. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch these videos. And in case you haven't seen other videos on my channel, definitely take some time out of your day to scroll on down. I even have some videos right now that have 0 views. So definitely check them out if you got the time. I really appreciate the support. And let's just get started with tonight's topic, computers. Computers. Where did they come from? Where they've been? Where they're going? Computers are credited with a guy by the name of Charles Babbage in terms of their modern day um, implementation. He is credited for being the father of computers. He, in the 19th century, developed a computer that was programmable. He did not live long enough to see out some of the engineering components that went into the successful creation of some of his research, but he did indefinitely become the father of computers, so much so that the guy is revered in a way that's arguably kind of weird. Half the guy's brain is in one part of a museum in London. The other half of his brain is in another part of London at another museum. And it's just so kind of like a weird, random tidbit of information there. But the guy was well respected. So much that his brain is on display at 2 different museums. So a very, very powerful person in that 100 years later, we still are building upon some of those same things that he created. And so the computer's history is full of fun anecdotes and many, many other people other than Mr. Babbage that have given to the ideology and or functionality and or creation of the modern day computer as we currently see it. And so I strongly encourage you to do some of your own research, take a look at the links below, and teach yourself about computers, the history of them. I think it's quite fascinating. And so we now know where they've been, or we now know the history of where they come from. What have they done? Where have they been, right? Computers. So in the last 100 years, computers have been around in a number of different places doing a number of different things, whether it's in an industrial space, helping out the military, or simply getting better. And so computers have been doing these things. In the early 2000s, we saw an uptick in users all over the internet, just sort of an explosion of people getting on the internet, the World Wide Web as it is, and accessing simple things like chat enabled applications. And first things that come to mind are sort of like the first instant messaging apps on like AOL and things, and the weird annoying noise that every time somebody tried to link up to the internet got for dial-up. All of those things, the computer has definitely grown. I would say that as it pertains to our next point, in fact, where computers currently are and as their future stands, I would argue that in the last 20 years or so, computers have actually stagnated in their availability to consumers. I remember in the early 2000s having a BlackBerry and then eventually a Sidekick, or vice versa, the Sidekick 2 and then Blackberries from there on out. But those computers were, those smartphones, those first gen smartphones were arguably just as fast and as reliable, I'd say even more reliable than some modern day services as it concerns cell phone providers and things. That's specifically one way that computers have not given the kind of growth they've promised us within the last 20 years. But as of now, quantum computing has now entered the conversation, and every day computers continue to get smarter and smarter. I don't know if you've used ChatGPT or any of the other AI-based software that sometimes we unknowingly use throughout our day, every day here in America. And so that could be ordering food, could be using Google Maps, it could be talking to a virtual assistant, it could be submitting a resume. There are lots of things that AI currently does that people just don't often think about or don't know. And so today we've talked about computers and where they come from, where they've been, and computers are going great places. just hopefully those great places will be equally accessible to everybody instead of just a certain group of people. So that's it with computers.